dives deep into various topics that shape the way we see the world. I'm your host, Elvira Malaita, and today we have a thought-provoking episode 9. We're going to explore the concept of historical revisionism through the eyes of the Filipino teenager. Historical revisionism is a term often associated with the reinterpretation of historical events, sometimes to serve a particular agenda or ideology. Today, we're going to navigate through the lens of the Filipino youth and discuss how historical narratives have evolved over time. Joining us today is Jessa, a Filipino teenager with a keen interest in history.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you here. So, before we get the idea of Chessa about historical revisionism, let's start by defining historical revisionism. It's not just about altering facts, it's about reinterpreting events to present a different narrative. In the Philippines, we've seen a various perspective on historical event from the Spanish colonialization to the martial law era. So these events you don't really experience, right?
Yes,
Since you don't experience that particular events, even the time of
martial law.
martial law and even the time of Corazon Aquino, the people power. So how do you think historical revisionism affects the way Filipino teenagers perceive their own their own history?
Well, it's a bit challenging for us teenagers since we seen a different perspective. Sometimes the information, the history we learn from our school is different from what we see online or heard from older generation, and it makes us wonder what is the truth and what has been manipulated.
It seems that teenagers really rely on social media, or sometimes it is their source of information,
That's
right?
very true.
Okay, since social media plays a significant role in shaping perspective, how do you think platforms like Twitter, Instagram, Facebook contribute to the spread of different historical narratives?
Well, social media is a double edged sword. On one hand, the digital realm gives us access to perspective and alternative histories, but on the other hand, it can be a breeding ground for misinformation, and some people use it to push their agenda and sometimes even twist histories.
It seems that there's a lot of ideas or information, knowledge that you are getting from social media. With so many conflicting narratives, how can Filipino teenagers navigate through historical information to find the truth?
Well, the first thing we need to do is to make sure that the information is factual and seek reliable information sources and determine who is the author, whose organization is behind this, and what are their qualifications to write or say anything about this topic. And maybe even talking to older generation is essential. It helps us piece together a more accurate picture of our history.
By doing this or navigating those information from different sources, how can we promote a more inclusive and accurate representation of history?
Well, we need to embrace diversity and historical narrative. Our history is not a monolith. It is a collection of histories from different perspectives, and by acknowledging and learning from this diverse experience, we can create a more nuanced understanding of our past.
So that sum up with all the information we need for today. Thank you very much, Chessa, for joining us today and give us your perspective on the topic about historical
The
revisionism.
pleasure is all mine.
So if you enjoy this kind of topics, you can like the button And
Share and subscribe.
thank you very much, Jess. And that's all for today. Everyone, thank you very much and see you next time.
Goodbye.